Hey guys, I am at Country Hills. This is our little banquet room. I tried to do this, made a couple videos, dog bark, cat, the kid comes in the screen. So I've had to redo it several times, which is obviously fun. But let's get into the details here now and talking about hand action and stuff because I got to work the golf shop in about half an hour, so no time like the crunch for it. So we're going to talk about the hands, and I just have my phone right now, so we'll work on this as I get better. Okay. You'll start to see the hand action that we're going to talk about and how important it is for the delivery position. The delivery position is halfway as you're coming into. This is kind of that magic spot that everybody really wants to get to, and that's why people have been told to pull the club down, and they're misled incorrectly here when you do that, because yes, you are in that position of a delivery position, but what happens is when you pull, you are no longer able to release. And so that's why the shaft will lean super far forward, and then you'll have to kind of turn and do funky things, and some golf pros can actually get away with doing that kind of dumb stuff. But that's really where this position can come from. But this position can come from with the arm releasing down the target line and that way. Anyway, get ahead of myself. So there's 100 different ways or more and interchangeable parts in how the hands move and whatnot. And so the reason why that I kind of had that eureka moment when I would hit 500 to 1,000 balls off the fence at our driving range. We have a creek in our driving range, and not a lot of people are privileged for that. So I would knock all the balls off the fence. Well, what I was doing was I was training this, and I trained this motion to where not only can I just can't do it wrong, right? So most people, when I get people to try to do these kinds of drills, they'll do it until they get it right. I want you to be able to do it until you can't get it wrong, until you just can't do it wrong. So what I found was this little motion right here put me in this delivery position that we're going to go into some great lengths about. So when this delivery position is here and then the arm is here, then I was making a perfect little semi-circle. Now some people are contacting me, and I've got a few people, I got a few spots left on the fitness stuff, but they're also contacting me about questions with their golf swing and the way they listen to me. And as a teacher, you have to communicate, you have to mean what you say, okay? So when people say they cock their wrist, this is not what I want you to do, ever. It is not moving the arm or rotating the forearms or anything of that nature and just cocking the club. It is not this. What you'll see is, do you see how my arm, this is your arm, this is your forearm, okay? So if I just cock the club, my left arm will flex and go towards the target a little bit that way. That is not what is happening, okay? When this right wrist hinges back, as the club is being swung, you'll see that it's a gradual process with this wrist joint here. And when that happens and your left grip is correct, now look where my hand's fully hinged here. That's the delivery position. That is, if you have any questions, this is what people think about when they cock the club. This is, see how incorrect this is compared to the throwing motion of a circle. Now you guys should clearly see that. Hopefully put it on video, slow it down, record it, because then once you hit this position here, then you can simply bend over your spine and you'll see that there's there. There is no up or down in a golf swing. It is circular in motion. We'll talk about pressure shifts and when that happens. We'll talk about how the body actually supports and the angles and the joints and as we go, as I progress in the series of videos, because I don't want it to be too long or too wordy and lose you guys, okay? Been told that too a little bit, right? So as the golf club gets into the delivery position, which is here, now you would not turn your body, because that would then leave the face wide open, which means you'd have to what they teach is turn your hand down. So when you turn your hand down, you square the club face up. Okay? Now, compact that with some kind of reverse pivot motion that most of you are going to have, and we'll talk about why in a second, is now I hit the ball, that's straight, but all my weight's going that way, in the chicken wing, okay? Now, I'm going to do this without a golf club for a minute or two, okay? So, and show you the positions. Now, what people talk about when they talk about strong or weak, sorry, by the way, for lefties. I'm sure you're probably used to being kind of screwed over on this stuff when people talk. Say, make sure that you, you know, I'm just saying right-handed golfers. So I'm sorry that there's about, what, 10 or 12% of the world's left-handed golfers. So I'm not trying to exclude you from this. You just have to reverse what I'm saying. All right. So the left hand. So when you turn it strong, it's very, very difficult to keep all of this locked into place and to turn. Do you see how when I turn my hand, it's not really about the hand. The whole forearm has to turn. I've never seen anybody be able to keep their forearm in the same place. See, it's just anatomically impossible, okay? So why is this so important? So if your grip is neutral is where your hand hangs natural from your side. This is a natural grip. These are the wrist joints that move. This is how you drink in life, turn your doorknob, anything of this nature, okay, other things. This is what you do with your hands. Get your coffee, right? Right? You don't do this or this. You see how that affects this whole forearm and the whole arm, upper arm, forearm, and forearm, okay? So your hands have to be able to make this motion, right? Now, what happens if you don't? You decide, okay, Roger's wrong. So if I turn it this way, my whole forearm turns. Now, the golf swing would go back. Could I put the golf club on a circle? No. And I will put this with a golf club for a second to kind of show you. This is the phalanx, second phalanx of the finger, and it goes right across the little smiley line of your hand. People that read palms, I'm not sure if I believe you or not, because everybody's palm to me has this little line right here. I don't know what you guys are looking at. But anyway, so from here, you'll see that this pad is here and here. You curl it, and then that is the correct. If you put it, and I'm choking down a little bit because the bell of the club is much thicker, but just to kind of give you an idea here, look at when I put it here, I don't have any control. And it goes to the palm, so this is dead wrong, right? You won't have any control. So if it's in the palm, your left hand will be, every time, will be in a weakened position, okay? So when you grip the club completely in the palm, you were wrong. So this pad has to be on top, this pad, right? Like so, and there you go. Now you can make that motion. Now, if the golf club is turned to, and your hand is turned to the left, what will happen is the forearm will not rotate. See? Now, at some point, so I'm going to do it now without a golf club, or with a golf club, and you can kind of see it. So you'll see how the club will be shut more. And then that, at some point, centrifugal force on the weight of the club, because you're not that strong, will now make the wrist bow. So that's this position that you'll see. Okay? Now, some people cannot rotate the forearm at all, and they'll go outside. Now, at some point, you have to get it back to the delivery position. So let's discuss this briefly, because there's some great players. Matthew Wolff has a very weak left-hand grip. Jordan Spieth, but they're super inconsistent, right? Super great for a while, super inconsistent, because they have to hit the slot, right? Not discrediting any golf pro, they are world-class players. They've figured out how to make their compensating moves and all of that, okay? So we're just talking about you. You are not a golf pro. You do have a hard time putting the club on the ball in a manner that is at a professional level, right? So don't get mad. So when your grip is weak, right, like this, so what he'll do is he takes the club up, 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 crosses the line. Okay, I've never seen anybody be over here with this forearm. So now guess what happens when you take the club? So from here, I can go, and guess where I'm at? The delivery position. I can beat Dustin Johnson, okay? He has the stronger grip. He turns his hands down. See, now the wrist is bowed and flat, like so. And then he comes into the position here. Where's he at? Delivery position. Now, when you come into this delivery position and you have the faces different angles, that's when you see golf pros chicken wing through the ball a little bit, or put more pressure back here a little bit because they're trying to get the ball up in the air. So you strong grip people that think you're hitting the ball further, really what you're doing is leading the shaft more forward, but your weight's going back to the right. Okay? So, next part of this is, and this is really, I hope you can see this, this is why people, this is number one reason why people slice, the incorrect grip of the left hand. So when you take the club back, the forearm doesn't rotate. When it doesn't rotate this way, when you come back into impact, it's going to return to where your arm hangs, where it starts. This is really critical here. So you see how my forearm is in this position? This is where it will return to. So if you start here and you take it back, when you come through, it will, unless you are superhuman strength and do something else that you've learned to do. See how I can square the club face up that way, right? So what'll happen is what? What's it gonna do? It's gonna open the face, and it's gonna give me a chicken wing. See? So watch, I can do this. I have this movement pattern in me. Ready? Look at that. Oh, man, I'm a perfect slicer now. See? Because it's just a movement pattern of this hand. So when you do that as well, what also happens is when the golf club goes back, the arm and the club will go outside the line. It's almost impossible to have a left hand grip really weak unless you then turn your body, and my God, then you really aren't any good, right? So you've got to at least give yourself a chance if you have a weak grip to go up and over and twist and all of that, right? You're never going to see a video like this, like ever. Like I've scoured YouTube. Either one, it's boring to talk about the hand position and the grips, or two, they don't know, or you know, all the compensating moving parts, right? So when now we put that in, well, that was just the left hand. So when the right hand is left hand strong. Left hand strong. When the left hand is strong, then that turns the whole forearm. Okay, you'll see that. Now you can, for practical purposes, turn this one way or the other and lock it. Right. So I could turn this super internal like Bryson DeChambeau does, and then turn this, and that's how he has. So this forearm is in the correct position, this arm is in the correct position up here. That's why the club can be taken away. It's why he's correct on his takeaway, but he has gone with twisting angles because he doesn't ever want the ball to go left. So why does the ball not go left? Because his wrist bone is here. So he's strong enough to hold it this way as he comes through and not have the golf club do this. Now, we'll talk about when he swings 150 miles an hour in long drive, that they feel the shoulder go up a little bit more and they feel their hand obviously release. You can't swing that fast and hold the ankle. I don't care who you are. Do not care. You cannot go that fast and keep this angle here, because what you're doing is when you do this, you're actually slowing the speed down. The shaft, the arm, and the hand is all moving at the same pace. Now that doesn't mean that someone can't go a Y to Y, which is what a lot of people will teach, and they'll teach this to go here and here, and now you have this beautiful little angle, and maybe your wrist is moving, and then maybe the wrist will hinge later, and maybe you'll get the golf club down in that delivery position or so because you had to pull it down, and then you have to rotate, which leans the shaft forward, and my goodness gracious, right? I mean, that's like me, you know, pushing the club through, thinking I'm going to have speed. Doesn't make any sense. So the golf swing, by the way, it's not a pendulum. Okay, you'll hear people say it's a double pendulum because you have this is a moving part on its own, and then the arm to the shaft would be a pendulum. So a pendulum would be more like this, right? And a double pendulum has this action to it here. So the golf swing is actually like a upside down trebuchet. So that was what they used to take big cannonballs and flip it around and break castle walls, right? Do you think they break castle walls pushing it? No. So the golf swing is an upside down trebuchet or a fling if you're trying to get the maximum speed. All right. So I digress. So now, when the left hand is turned this way, what will happen now is the golf club will go rotate inside. Your left hand will be overactive. If your left hand is very strong, your left hand will be overactive, unless you do other things in your body to compensate, which won't be efficient, right? So from here now, what do I have to do? Well, obviously I have to do something with my right elbow and arm to get the golf club to come back, okay? So I can take the club back wide that they teach here and move off the ball, because anytime you take both arms straight, and you may want to try this, they can, take both arms straight back, you'll see how the head has to move. It's impossible to keep the head still without an attached end and a detached end. See? Like that. But you do this, you're going to move off the ball. Now when you move off the ball, that doesn't mean that you can't get back into this delivery position. I can. I know where it is. You guys don't. So why not just go ahead and put the golf club there, right? All right, so the right hand. So same thing with how the hand hangs. So the wrist does this, drinking, etc. Forearm. So if you turn this underneath, like so, then your wrist joint will be locked. The elbow and the arm is locked. The golf club will go straight back forever. And at some point, don't care who you are, your forearm will have to roll. And so you can see what that would do with the golf club. And now you can make compensating moving parts, right? So, and if it's turned this way, now this is my favorite for you slicers. When you turn your hand and your arm over, because you've told, I sliced the ball. If I slice the ball, shit, I gotta turn the toe. I gotta turn the toe in, right? So when I turn the toe in, I turn my shoulder, I separate my arm, I separate my forearm, all of that. So where's the golf club gonna go, guys? Outside and slice, right? So don't do this. So when you do this and you're over here, you've got no chance to hinge your hands correctly, to have your elbow rotate, to put the club on a circular plane, right? So I want you to understand this clearly. So when I'm making this little circle motion here, and I'm in the right position. If I can do that, then my grip's correct, okay? And the grip is gonna be in the fingers, all right? These are all phalanx, they call them. So the second phalanx is the joint here, see? So you'll see how it goes all in the second, not the first, definitely not the palm, right? There. And then this little lifeline right here goes right on top of the thumb. And you do that, then you can make this circle. So how you can check yourself, go here to the top, bend over, okay, great. You can also see the butt of the club would be pointed at your golf ball, wherever it would be on the ground, right? Here, I bend over, boom. Now, when you see this, do you see how the angle stays the same? Here, then I bend over, you can clearly see circular here to there. And all I did was bend my spine angle over. So that's the easiest way to do this motion here, because this is where you're trying to get back to and release the arm in a throwing manner, not a pulling manner, not a turning, not a pushing, right? So now you see how important that is, and you have all these little compensating moving parts that I'm going to talk about. When you do that is what happens into the body, and we'll get into that next, about how pressure shifts actually happen and how where the club goes, your weight goes, and all that. So stay tuned for next week's fun. Come see me for golf lesson, fitness. If you want the real deal, come see me.